Hello and welcome to PolyInnovator. So I just realized, and I had a reminder set for it, that I didn't make a Now vlog for this month's Now page. I did change the Now page for this new month, but I didn't make a video yet. So I wanted to simply reach out to you all and to show you kind of the ideas that I want, not show, I guess more just tell the ideas that I wanted to share with you all. In this case, PolyInnovator is growing and it's changing, and I want to try to maximize my reach as best I can. By doing so, I'm going to be able to create a lot more, including the modular education framework or platform. Haven't decided on the actual terms yet, per se. But this idea of creating this modular education is super important to me. This is what I've been focusing on, which is why I haven't been as consistent with some of my content. Might just be an excuse, though, to be honest. I need to be better with on the content. I have been pretty good with the POLYCASTS interviews, but that's only been one part of it. So I'm looking at my Now page here and just kind of going over the ideas that I went on here. First and foremost, the modular degree is where I started. That expanded into what I call the modular education framework, because it's more than just a degree. It's something that can be applied to all levels of education, including lifelong learning. So that's what I've been working on for the most part. However, that's the first part of what I call the personal poly-innovation system, because there's this way of approaching life that can be much more effective if you can know how to start. Now, self-education, self-improvement, and self-development is what I'm talking about there. And most of you might be like, well, those are all the same thing, but they're not. The real key difference is the first one, education, is a foundation. It's what you're learning, it's what you're trying to achieve, what skills you're trying to absorb, and that's it. And then self-improvement is the consistency of your habits and systems of your life, such as your routines and rituals. And when I went to work, I worked at a recreation facility, so I was able to work out pretty easily because I just go upstairs or go downstairs and just go do a workout. However, once quarantine hit and I was out of that environment, my habits of working out dipped because I had a system shock in a way. That's a good game. And then on top of that, you have the self-development aspect. What are your 4 pillars like? How is your mental state? Are you taking care of your body? What's your spirituality like? How do you know your emotions well? Do you know them? Can you understand them? And so that's the 4 pillars aspect. And so it's a 3-tier system, and the first one I'm working on right now is that modular education. Ironically, I actually worked on the 4 pillars years ago, almost a decade actually now. So I've been working on making that consistency is kind of my biggest thing. And I've taken that idea from Gary Vee, of jab, 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 right hook. And so that way I can just provide you with great value. And then by the time I actually release the book or send something out, you guys will be willing to buy it because you'll be like, hey, I love this guy. That's what I want. Oh, this camera will not stop focusing. And so what I've been doing here is trying to create this system, as well as personally, I'm trying to create my own systems again. So Notion has been something that's been fascinating for me, where I've been working all the time at trying to figure out how to maximize and automate a lot of my habits and keeping track of things. I'm going to take this off because I can't hear my ears and I don't need the feedback. So essentially speaking, Notion is a tool that combines documents, Kanban boards, and sheets and tables and whatnot. If you can do it uniquely, for example, each line of a database is its own document, whereas other tools, they can't do that. Airtable kind of can, but you have to pay an expensive plan for it. It's like, no, not worth it. But, and each one of those lines is its own document, in which case you could have your own database inside that document. So each line of the database could have its own database inside of it. The possibilities are so insane with this tool, and I'm seeing some people, in fact, I'm looking at every YouTuber I can find that talks about Notion and trying to take bits and pieces to make a cohesive system. That's kind of the polymathic way that I always try to talk about, is just trying to see what you can combine from the greatest of all. Man, my hair is bad, sorry. So that's what's coming up. I've been working on that personally, the Notion aspect, and then professionally getting a personal PPS system going. And the first part of that is being the modular education framework. And I've been looking even more quickly recently about how can I build this platform? Like literally, can I find ways to do it myself without having to hard code it? Other than that, I encourage you to reach out to me because I don't really have a good way to explain all of this. Right now, I'm actually rendering a video for the first interview of the new season for the Polymath Polycast. It's fantastic. I'm super excited about it. what happened was I ended the last season because we reached the 42 episode limit that I imposed on myself because I didn't want these seasons to go on forever. And 42, for those of you who know, is a special number. And so I had 42 episodes already, and so I decided, okay, that's the first season. Then when I started the second season with the interviews, I decided to keep that 42. I had another 28 or so interviews. Actually, it was like 24 by the time the season ended. Now it's 28 that I had of this new season already. In fact, some of those are probably going to be season 4, honestly, because by the time we get to it. And then I also have all the Omni content coming as well. And I might take a little dip from the Omni content after this next week because I'm going to be releasing the full mini-series of the polymath spectrum all in 1 week. And the reason why I'm doing that is, for one, I want to try to catch up a little bit on the Omni content. Initially, I decided to try to do them every day, and that didn't work out. There was a few kinks to get out in order when I first started at the beginning of the year. And part of that was tools, part of that was just my system was a little flawed when it came to like the order of operations. And once I started doing it a couple of times, I was like, oh, I need to do this at this point, not later on. And so after the first couple of Omni content, I was able to fix those flaws. However, it took me forever to get to the 3rd and 4th and even 5th episodes. And the 5th part is actually a first episode of the polymath spectrum. So I might even change the images to match that series. Now, here's the real kicker. I'm going to try to end this because it's supposed to be a short little vlog, but you know me, I get talking. I'm super excited because I think I have a decision. I'm probably going to stick with specialproject.io, where you could make your own Netflix and YouTube hybrid, where you put all your stuff on there and have these different series. And I really like that because when I approached the Omni content, I took the whole Tribe Tactics company's idea of creating an original series, which is just like Netflix's original series, where you have something that's unique to you and then be able to share it just on your exclusive platform. Now, a lot of my series are going to be public. They're going to be on YouTube. You don't have to pay for that service to do it. The cool thing about Special Project and the way it's special is that you can actually make some videos be free. And so if you wanted to come on there and just watch them on there instead of YouTube for some reason, you could. And especially since down the line, a couple of years, they're going to have their own OTT apps, such as for like Roku and stuff like that, as well as just native Android and iOS apps. So that's going to be really interesting to think about, as well as exclusive miniseries. And just to give you kind of a hint of what I'm planning, the first series that I'm doing here, because the Omni content is a series, but it's not episodic. Not all of the episodes are going to relate to each other. The first episode was about your self-education. And then this last one was multi-potentialites. The next one's about jack of all trades. They don't really match. They're all part of the whole poly-innovator ecosystem. And that's what really matters. However, what I've been planning on doing, even for a while now, even before I even thought about having Special Project, was to have these mini-series, such as for Ikigai, Flow, self-development, including the 4 pillars. In fact, 4 pillars is probably the biggest series because there's like 17 episodes I have planned. So that's going to be really interesting because I've never been able to dig deep in those. I've always been superficial level knowledge when I talk about them. I'll talk about them in a video or a blog post or on a podcast interview and when I'm on someone else's show. But since I'm introducing the topic usually on those different mediums, I can't get into the nitty-gritty of certain areas. And I think that once I start teaching those, I'll be able to improve too, no less, let alone you be able to improve from that improvement. If that makes sense. So I'll be able to talk more. Because the more I talk about it, the more it's going to be concreted in my knowledge. And then you get the benefit of it too. And I believe most of those series that I'm talking about right now are going to be the free ones. And then I'll make some exclusive ones, just obviously exclusively for that platform, maybe Patreon as well, or have them connected somehow. I already have plans for the self-education mini course to make a comeback on that platform. I had so many issues with the learning management systems. That's why I'm trying to figure out how to make my own freaking system, because I had so many issues with the other one. So that's why you haven't been able to see the self-edu mini course recently. I know some of you wanted to try it out, especially since I made videos for it finally, and now it's kind of just going out of date. But it's still evergreen stuff. You're still going to benefit from it if you get to it. All right, I'm going to stop jabbering because I feel like I've been talking for like 50 minutes here. Thank you for listening, and that's what I've been doing right now. I know that's a lot, but I've been doing a lot. I literally just had my 48th guest since May the other day, and I had the 13th show right now that I recorded today on someone else's show. So all in all, been busy. I hope that you guys are patient with me. I haven't been making as many micro content as I wanted to and that kind of thing. Please keep being patient. You're going to not regret it. Cheers.